Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sikhi and its view on women. In some ways, maybe the men within Sikhi should be talking more about women's freedom rather than just women talking about their freedom. The background to all this is Guru Sahib proclaimed that the soul has no label. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter whether you're black, white or anything, your soul is the same soul as anybody else. So women and men have the same ability to achieve with Waheguru, and also women and men are equal. And they're not the same, we understand that they're physically different, but irrelevant from that, the point is that they are equal. The first thing we need to do is just talk through in the history of Sikhi how Guru Sahibs went through this. And one of the things we see is that there's a break from tradition. There was a tradition at that time of sati, where when the husband died, the wife was basically thrown onto the funeral pyre and burned along with the husband, because the value to a widow was not there. And Guru Sahib, spoke out against this and actually forbade that to his Sikhs. A woman was then freed from this idea that she is worthless as without a husband, and there's so much shame that she should just basically kill herself. One thing they did also was to get rid of this notion of women being impure in some way. And two ways that manifested itself at that time was that during menstruation, women were seen as being unclean. And Guru Sahib speaks out against this and says that's ridiculous. If this is the same menstruation from which birth is made, how can you call that impure when the children that are born from that you consider pure? So that was one thing that he took out. And then also was this idea that they would attract men with their good looks, and that was the fault of the women. And Guru Sahib says, well, that's not the fault of the woman that she's beautiful, it's the fault of the man who can't keep his eyes to himself. It's the man's responsibility to control his own eyes. And obviously, people might fail in that, and I failed in that, but the point is that it's not the woman's fault. And so that sinful label was taken off the woman, and that extends on to the idea of a woman covering her face. So Guru Sahib gets rid of this idea of parda, which was prevalent back in those times. 500 years ago, parda was quite a common thing, and Guru Sahib says no to that. And to the point where he actually doesn't allow a Muslim lady, princess at that time, to come and visit his darbar and speak to him until and unless she removes the veil across her face. He's not going to go out and preach this to everybody else and say you can't do this or enforce it. But within our area, Guru Sahib said in the Guru's court, you're not allowed to enter with a veil across your face, because that's your essential humanity really, and taking that away from you is kind of dehumanizing. Carrying on with the idea of the onus being on the man, the idea of Kaam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, well, there's two vices in there, Kaam and Krodh, that again fall on the individual to control. Now lust is obviously a very basic human force, but it needs to be controlled and used in the right way. Now what Guru Sahib is saying is, within marriage, it's not the idea that you suddenly have license to do whatever you want with your wife. It's not legalized rape. A marital rape is against Sikhi. We should basically be respectful of every other person's desires and wishes, rather than force them just because legally we have this law. And so by putting the onus of controlling Kaam on the individual, it's your problem to control your own lust. And again, looking at Krodh, anger, it's not that a woman displeases a man so he's able to just slap her or beat her up. This is not the way that things work within the Sikhi faith. What Guru is teaching us is that God is in the heart of every single person, and when you hurt a person, you're actually almost sinning against God. Now it doesn't mean that someone is a sinner or an evil person, that we can't deal with that person. What it does mean that within a relationship which is based upon love, like marriage, it doesn't mean that you have the right to abuse your partner simply because you legally have married that person. We understand that Punjabi is not Sikhi. Sikhi is a philosophy and the teachings by the Guru, and a lot of Punjabis are Sikhs. So yes, there is a fact, and we have to face the fact that actually Punjabi culture hasn't moved away from domestic violence and not really giving women freedom. But the point is that Sikhi is telling us to move away from it, and Punjabism sometimes holds us back. There are very positive things within Punjabi culture, but the attitude towards women is not one of them. So therefore, what we have to do really is learn from Sikhi and not from Punjabism. Let's look at things that Guru Sahib also instituted within this culture that they were creating. Firstly, education. Guru Angad Dev Ji invents the Gurmukhi alphabet, and all the part and everything else gets written in Gurmukhi, but he also sets up schools, and women are taught in those schools as well, and we're aware that Guru Amar Das Ji came into Sikhi because one of his relatives was reading part, and so obviously she was educated as well. Moving on from that, we actually see Guru Sahib taking it one step further and appointing women as being preachers, or effectively the heads of congregations across Punjab and in India. So Guru Amar Das Ji set up a whole system of manjis, where each manji would be like an area where in that area the Sikh centre would be headed by such and such person, and that person would be given responsibilities and powers by Guru Sahib to spread the message of Sikhi. And we see 22 of these centres were headed by women. So a lady at that time would be the person that you would seek counsel from and learn about Sikhi from. When we look at Sikhi as in a Gurdwara, we can also see that the principles of equality are inside the Gurdwara as well. Men and women, are sitting on the same floor, having the same langar, or in the same darbar hall, sitting, listening to the same kirtan. There's no screen between them, there's no separate room for them. They're all treated the same. Even if we look at Sikh history, the contribution of the women that were important in Guru's lives is also within Sikhi. Like for example, Bibi Nanaki is lauded as being the first Sikh because she followed her brother Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And then we've got Mata Kivi, who's the wife of Guru Ji, who is lauded for how much seva she did for the Sangat. And then we've got finally Mata Sahib Kaur Ji becoming the mother of the Khalsa Panth. Guru Sahib didn't just say, I'm the father of the Khalsa Panth, he also made a mother. And that's an important fact to note. There's also shabads that talk about women, Puta Mata Ki Asis, the importance of a woman giving her child blessings, that may you remember Waheguru always. And that importance to women has been there from the beginning. And actually, if we look at even the sweetness of women's contribution to society, that's also acknowledged. Mata Kivi Ji is feeding kheer, and his praise is being so tasty. And then we've got Mata Sahib Kaur Ji adding sugar to the patashe, to the amrit. The recognition of the beauty that women bring to life, the mitas. Guru Sahib then speaks to men, and he says, listen, look at you marry a woman, if your woman passes away, you seek another woman. You can't live without women, basically, he's telling men. And then he says, look, now you call her low, who you yourself can't live without. And then he also says later on, well, look, who is born without woman? You tell me, only one Waheguru is without woman. And another point which comes up from that is Sikhi has a feminine theology. Guru Sahib is saying, look, approach Waheguru like a woman in love with her husband. Like a bride approaches the husband, and then he uses that example and says, look, we're all women to Waheguru. Is jag mein purakh ek hai. That line from Guru Granth Sahib Ji says there's only one male in this world, that's the creator, our true husband, and the rest of us are all women. When Guru Sahib is talking about women, he's saying, look, I go and ask my sisters, how can I please my husband, Lord? And it's important for us to note that, the feminine theology, and I think there's actually a book by Nikki Gurinder Kaur Singh that talks about this part in much more detail, and in probably in much more eloquent ways as well. When we went to war, for example, against people for whatever reason, Sikhs were famous for freeing women, and then not taking them on as captives themselves. In some other faiths, and especially in the Abrahamic, so Christianity, Judaism and Islam, women are sometimes seen as war booty. But we've got the opposite angle here, where the Sikhs would go and free women. They would go out and they would stop all the women that were being abducted from India and taken up to Afghanistan, and they attacked those parties and they freed those women. And it's a notable point in history, and I'll put the link underneath, where even the Muslim chroniclers say that it's unknown amongst them to have slavery or to steal women or to take them as as force them into marriage. And Guru Sahib, this culture that Guru Sahib built, from Guru Nanak Dev Ji through to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, this consecutive 10 gurus, the big thing that they did was build this culture of respect for women and respect for their freedom, and also for their honor. And really that culture is what we should be all aiming towards. Now looking at Sikhi from the point of view of what Guru Gobind Singh Ji also brought to the freedom for women. And even the name of a woman, and there's two parts of that name, the first name and the surname. Something core. Now let's look at the first part. Sikh names are unisex. It's an amazing fact that I haven't really seen any other society out there that we've got unisex first names. And all the names tend to be from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. They tend to have some kind of spiritual context to them, pointing to the fact that the soul has no sex. And how do we distinguish them? By the second part, Singh or Kaur. And a woman in Sikhi keeps that Kaur surname for the whole of her life. It's a royal surname. The word Kaur comes from the word Kaur, and the word Kaur comes from the word Kumar. It used to be prince. That doesn't mean princess, it means more prince. And Singh also used to be a royal surname, and the proof of that is that there was a famous Akali called Akali Kaur Singh. It's just to distinguish between somebody being a male or a female, especially given the fact that our names are unisex. And there's no sense of woman belonging to a man, so once she gets married she has to change her surname to reflect his name. She doesn't have to follow the names of her father, she follows the name given to by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and she stays that her whole life. And if you look at just the Amrit Sanchar itself, once everybody takes Amrit, the Amrit goes around the whole Sangat, and people, whoever's taken Amrit that day, and they all drink together, from the same bata. Everybody because you're saying you're part of the same family now, you see. And it doesn't matter, obviously in a family you have some who have girls and some boys, but they're all the same. And Guru Sahib is saying the same to us. And take that one step further, the Sikhi Rehat will say to you that if you can't even keep the company of somebody who has taken part in female infanticide. That's a really sad fact, and something that we should really, honestly, we deserve like slaps as Sikhs. That Punjab has, one of the highest rates of female infanticide in India. When actually, Kudimar, this actual idea of killing your daughter because you want male sons, is explicitly outlawed by Guruji. Really, Guru Sahib is giving such a great status to women. He's saying, if you kill your daughter because she was female, then I do not want to ever see you again, and no Sikh should talk to you ever again. Another rehat, which I wasn't quite aware of, is that a Sikh man is said, never eat the earnings of your sister or of your daughter. Let them keep their income independent. And that actually is an important part, because dowry is not allowed in Sikhi. So taking on a dowry or being paid to marry your son off, to marry someone else's daughter, is against Sikhi. So obviously the idea of actually saying never eat from the earnings of your daughter or of your sister means that they should be earning, they should be able to be independent financially. And a final point, which may be a little bit controversial, but for those people that do follow, for example, and agree that Dasam Granth Sahib Ji came from Guru Gobind Singh Ji, he talked about Durga, and he gave her, for me, I see her as a role model. Here is a lady, a Devti, who is so strong that she rides upon a tiger or a lion, a Singh, that's her savari. She carries a big sword, a khanda, kirpan, she's armed. The king of the gods has to approach her for help, and she's invincible. She basically wins every battle that she comes up against. And we see that when we see Mai Pago. She goes off into battle. The men were supposed to be the warriors, and physically obviously men do have that advantage over women, but the point is that when men stop being men, then a Sikh woman has been given arms. Guru Sahib is saying, have a kirpan. Even in the British army, women are not allowed in the front line. They're not allowed to be infantry soldiers. Here Guru Sahib is giving every woman a kirpan who becomes Amritari, and saying, look, when times are tough, you also need to be armed. And then Mai Pago Ji takes us to the point where the Charlie Mukte, who we respect, they were led to battle with Mai Pago, and she became a general. And these are the strength of Sikh women. They were prepared to sacrifice their lives, everything, just for the Guru, and they were given the highest respect by Guru Sahib. That even to the point where women are allowed to be women. And this point was raised to me by somebody else. It's not my point, but a woman said, look, men are expecting women to shave their armpits, shave their legs. They're basically expecting women to be like prepubescent girls. The fact that Guru Sahib has given that onus upon the man to accept that means that women don't have this pressure to conform to really what in the last 50 years is a very Western concept of beauty. Obviously I've made loads and loads of mistakes doing that, and I apologize sincerely for that. This was just my take, and really from people I've spoken to, what they value that Guru Sahib gave to the world, really, as an example of equality within a religion. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.